The markets are tanking. Let's find out why. What's causing this? This is the 8th of January, your crypto news. So the market cap, the total market cap is down 7.7% today, which is significant. ETH dropping almost 10%, Sol dropping 10%, and BTC down 6%. However, just keep in mind that the actual general markets, even in the most bullish news, aren't going up either. So we can see this is with Nvidia, which is, a massive stock, and they were at 153, and then they dumped down as well, dumping to 140. That is despite the fact that they've gone and announced yesterday a $3,000 personal AI supercomputer called Digits, which will basically blow your socks off. It looks like a Mac Mini. Covered it briefly in yesterday's stream, but it's 1,000 times more powerful in AI functions than a personal computer, like a laptop. This thing is nuts, as well as the 5080, 5070, 5090. All of these GPUs start to come out at the end of the month, and these are twice as powerful as the previous generation. Like, I have no idea who's selling Nvidia because, yeah. So in general, the market's maybe not looking super fabulous. However, it's across the board. If we have a look at CoinGecko, we can see in the last 24 hours, pretty much everything has gone down, with some things falling down, even more. But this is completely normal. This is what happens in these cycles. One important thing is if you're longing and you're thinking, yep, this is how we're going to make it, or if you're shorting, this is how we're going to make it, playing with leverage, huge amount of money is made every time someone gets liquidated. Over $700 million has been liquidated in the last 24 hours. Regardless, it doesn't matter too much because people are still buying Bitcoin. $100,000 Bitcoin is, we back up there in a couple of days, and then it's probably going to go to something like 250,000 this cycle. Maybe a little bit more, a little bit less. No one really knows, but it's going to look pretty juicy. It is a scary thing when you see it like this, and it doesn't scare me anymore. It certainly scared me in my first and maybe even second cycle. Just remember, if you are worried, just zoom out to a longer time frame, and it starts to look a lot better. Things can't go up 20% in the day and then not retrace. Retracements are normal. Once again, we covered this last week, but don't be too greedy on Camino in terms of having $1,000 worth of Sol and borrowing, say, $700 worth of USDC. You need to make sure you've got a decent buffer there. Maybe it's $1,000 worth of Sol, and then you've gone and borrowed $450 worth of USDC or something like that. You can decide what you want to do, but I like to have lots of room in terms of collateral. Our greed index is at 70, so down a little bit, but nothing too bearish. Or obviously when it goes down in value, this is a good time to go and buy actually, but it hasn't fallen enough for us to start to worry too much. Still happy to accumulate at these levels though. Having a quick look at the calendar, we'll cover a few things. Just very quick though. Reminder, farm grass, just keep on getting those grass points. Bonk Dragon, don't fade Bonk. There's a dupe planetary call, 3:30 p.m. UTC. So this is why we're not live on Wednesdays. That way there's no conflict of viewership. But go and watch that, either live or recording. News with airdrops, Phantom airdrop. If you saw anyone that was saying like, follow me on Phantom and I'll follow you back and there's an airdrop coming, that is complete noise. I would mute that person at the very least. That kind of person that's just the farming engagement. They're going to be successful in getting a few followers and getting a few likes, and then they offer no real value. Just get rid of them. Pulse, very bullish, and Kira will cover that at the end of today's video. So Amani's put out something very bullish for Backpack, for the exchange, for the Backpack exchange, and that is, this has got lost in the announcement, but Backpack brings crypto derivatives into the EU, but it's also how we're going to bring stocks, bonds, options, everything. So I would love to buy on-chain some Master, MSTR. It would be amazing. So I'm unsure when we can actually sign up, but we'll see in Europe. Now, this here is just wet your whistle, just a little bit of information. Don't have all the information, and it's written in a confusing legalese kind of manner. Essentially, the judge in the SEC versus Coinbase case has paused the lawsuit to work out, what comes next, and if they win here, this will free up a whole lot more user friendliness for US crypto companies, is my belief. Having a look at some legalese definitions that you're probably not going to be familiar with. So the first one, just so you understand it, is Coinbase has stayed the lawsuit until the appellate court, blah, 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 interlocutory. Haven't heard of that word before. So staying in contract, you're preventing from pressing charges initially. That's that first thing. Appellate is concerned with or dealing with applications for decisions to be reversed. So this is the overturning court. And interlocutory, given provisionally during the course of legal action. If you don't understand all that, you're amongst most of us, but even Gronk spits out a wordy thing. The basic thesis here, without trying to confuse anyone in any way, is it's very hard for a US company to have crypto involved because the legacy system is connected to the billionaires, the trillionaires, the people with vested interests, the politicians. And so the SEC is very nasty going after these. And if the point to take home here, if Coinbase looks like they're going to win, and if they win, maybe Base would actually be a pretty decent airdrop to go and get. So as well as all the other things that will just spin up out of the US. So that's just kind of the gist. It's bullish in the long term. A little bit of news from Drip House. 1,000 testers have now been onboarded onto mobile app with massive retention here. Mobile is the future. People always ask about Drip, and I don't spend a lot of time on there because I just don't have a lot of time. But this is a good way to connect to projects that you like, a good way for projects to put out cool content and to help build like an audience. Like something like this, there's a lot more effort in it. Probably going to be better than Instagram in the future for the crypto community. I don't think you're going to actually get some sort of airdrop yourself, but by even being active on Drip, you've got airdrops before from other people that have just taken snapshots of wallets. So get involved with Drip. The Bonk Dragon will be studied by scholars for years to come. Build your Bonk Dragon. I didn't build it last year. Yeah, last year, 2 years ago. I covered all the things of what you need to do. I did some of them, but they were kind of difficult. And that's why I don't have all of the attributes, the two from the previous Bonk mess. But we have confirmation from the Bonk Discord that it doesn't matter if you don't have all of them, there will be some sort of gift. I don't know how much of a gift they can necessarily even give, because if they go and give away $100 million worth of this token, which they probably could do, it probably would be absorbed by the market pretty well. But there is obviously the sell pressure. So I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen, but Bonk, you got to trust in Bonk. It's just doing so well. Now, I faded this, which was very, very annoying. And I don't have a thesis on why it was successful. But anyone that jumped into the Sonic, I covered it, but I didn't actually go in myself. Anyone went in there, I said it was 450, it was actually 420 yesterday. You were refunded, the vast majority. So $42 turned into $800. So anyone that went in, well done. But now I need to understand what exactly Sonic is about. Big news here from Sanctum and MetaDAO. This is the MetaDAO Futagi symbol here. Very bullish on MetaDAO, very bullish on Sanctum. We already know that Sanctum is bringing staking very, very soon, this month. And in addition to that, I believe they're going to start using Futagi for some decision making in their DAO, which means, I'm going to cover a lot in terms of content on that. And now I will happily start to accumulate some more Sanctum. Not saying you should, just saying that this has proper upside. MetaDAO is what's going to make DAOs actually function, in my opinion. All right, let's move on to KDX Tokenomics. So I did a video on this with Sui. It's not too late. You're at the end of season 3, so you're probably best to get amongst it still. But we don't need to even spend a whole lot of time on this because we're just going to look at it. We can see TVL is growing, but nothing too crazy, but it is actually growing. And the biggest thing that I like is the total supply is 100 milli. And look at these tokenomics. 50% initial airdrop, 20% team and early backers, and 30% future incentives. I haven't done enough of a look through to know who exactly is in the team, how bullish I am on their long-term vision, or any of that sort of stuff. But with tokenomics like this is really making sure your community is invested. And I think this is the new standard. The essential thing is, let's say you are a project. Let's say someone makes a Camino copy. And they are the Tomino. And they go and make a really cool product. And then they hold the vast majority of the tokens. And they're all VC locked up and early investors and whatnot. This has worked in previous cycles. It doesn't work now because your community is so active that they are the people that actually refer people, that get people involved, that help out with questions. So most of the upside needs to go to them. And if KDX, if Kriya, not the best branding name, but if Kriya actually goes and manages to be very transparent with who the team is, do something a little bit like Dupe, like some podcasts and that sort of jazz. With these tokenomics, I'm pretty bullish, but I'll look into it a little bit more maybe tomorrow. One thing is, it's not it's not been talked about right here on Cato. So we can see, who is actually talking about things in the last 24 hours, 48 hours, 7 days, as an example, and they're not making the cut. What is very, very active is Story Protocol, Bear Chain, and Abstract, as well as Cato. So if you're not doing any farming of things, you may want to try on testnet with Story Protocol, Bearer, and Abstract, just because that's what crypto Twitter is talking about. Actionables, DCA into Sol, stake with Validator.com, always stake your Solana. Join my Telegram channel for time-sensitive updates. Check out my Sui network playlist to get started on Sui. Particularly check out Kira or Kriya because you don't have much time. And watch my video on Pulse and use my referral to get $10 off. I am bullish on Pulse. I think it's worth checking out. Airdrop actionables, Meteora. I don't have any Meteora tips for you today, but we'll have some again tomorrow. Sign up for the Cast debit card. Gradient Network, Grass Dawn. Just run them in a profile, mentioned before, and get the latest Bonk Dragon attribute by doing swaps worth $40 on the Sanctum bot on Telegram. As always, nothing's financial advice, just educational and opinion in nature. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video. Whoa. Yeah.